convicted, though, I think we should go out to landfills with pedophiles after they've been completely... We made sure they were pedophiles and just throw them in and then crush them in a compactor.
Well, I mean, that's that's dealing with them after they've been... That way we deal with them after being charged. I'm talking about a full investigation should be done. I'm not talking about what doing them afterwards.
Oh, no, I feel like the best way to actually deal with pedophiles like that is, like, you got a pedophile, you charge them with their stuff, and then you put them in jail, and then tell the other people inmates in the jail is like, hey, this person's a pedophile. Have at him.
No, they know. Most of the time, they know what you're in there for, and yeah, the Aryans will go and rape you and then kill you.
See?
Yeah, it happens quite often. If it gets known that you are a pedophile or a rapist of any sort, they usually do that.
So it's best to like have the actual like. The other criminals pretty much deal with you in their form.
Yeah, but
well, the thing is when the reason about like doing crimes and stuff like that, I feel like they deserve to suffer before death.
I don't know. I just think they're trash and treat them like such.
I feel like death is too easy of a way out. If someone were to like kill a bunch of people and then you just kill them, that's too easy of a way out. I want them to suffer first.
I like that too, but I just. Costs money. You know what I mean? Suffering costs money. It's not cheap.
No, it's really not. And that's... But... I don't know.
There's landfill's running anyways. We got to throw the trash away anyways. So
there is a whole nother argument to be made about all of that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And it's getting into deep territories that are really deep and dark because you start getting into psychology, stuff like that, because especially when it comes down to like pedophilia in general, because it's a very touchy topic that a lot of people don't want to talk about because there are so many extreme emotions attached to it. Yes. But the problem is it needs to be talked about because there are a lot of aspects to it that a lot of people don't understand. You know, it's like everybody jumps on board with these castration laws, right? While whether you want to agree or disagree as to whether or not it's a suitable punishment is one thing. The statistics show it doesn't do anything. Yeah. Because the problem with it is once they get to adulthood, more often than not, those behaviors are so ingrained into them, you could cut off their balls and their dick, and it wouldn't make a difference.
It's an emotional.
Yeah, well, it's not an emotional thing. It's predatory patterns that have been built into their body. They just do it. And then the other thing is that's the other side of things that a lot of people don't understand is because those of us that are not pedophiles look at it through a lens of sexuality. And we think, well, how could you possibly be attracted to a child under the age of puberty, a prepubescent child? The thing about it is, for majority of pedophiles, it's not about the sexual aspect of it. It's about power and control. There is something broken inside of them that has caused them to react out and need some version of power control. It's the same thing with like the Epstein stuff, right? Everybody talks about Epstein and all these, pedophile island and all this other stuff and the sex with the underage girls. And they go, every time you hear about a new name, they're like, oh my God, I'm so shocked. I can't believe I was on that plane. Tom Hanks was the most recent one. He was one of the ones that came out. He was on one of the Jeffrey Epstein's planes. Everybody's like, oh my God, I can't believe that somebody like that would do something like that. What people don't understand is when you get to a certain point where you have so much money and so much influence that it doesn't come down to, okay, let's not use Tom Hanks as an example because we don't really know for sure anything. Bill Clinton, right? We know Bill Clinton for a fact was there. We all know Bill Clinton's done some shady shit over the years.
Yeah, he does not have the best track record.
Right, exactly. Like when everybody heard Bill Clinton's name, nobody went.
Of course.
Yeah, nobody went, oh my God, big shocker there. Slick Willie was on fucking Pedo Island, right? Okay, but the thing about it is people are like, oh my God, that's so disgusting. I can't believe you're attracted to underage girls, okay? It's not about that per se. It's about the taboo. It's about the power. It's about knowing that you are doing something that if any decent person in public saw you doing, you would go to prison for. But because you are so powerful, because you have so much money, because the people you talk to, the people you know, right, will make sure you get out of anything. They get off on the power, on having that kind of power and that kind of control. That's what Epstein got off on. He had a chess set inside of his house that was all the pieces on the chessboard were people he knew. They were friends. Well, friends of his. Associates. They were pawns in his game.
I love that.
This guy had...
I don't like what he did.
No,
Yeah,
he was a
I gotta
monster,
respect-
but the guy was a genius.
You gotta respect like the monstrous intent.
Absolutely, and
Like-
that's the really scary part is you do have to appreciate the amount of power and the amount of manipulation. You have to appreciate his intelligence.
It's very sad that even though I dislike him because he's a monster.
Well, he absolutely is a monster.
that I
There's no doubt
somewhat
about it.
respect him because of the power.
Well, it's one of those things, and that's
And
the biggest thing
pure
is
cynical control.
that's one of the biggest things nobody wants to look at. You need to go in and you need to look at what kind of person that person was, and you have to at least give them the respect of how much intelligence they had. The fucking scary part is that's the problem with that kind of power and that kind of money. When they say power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely, that's exactly what they mean about it. It doesn't, like, it's like George Soros. George Soros is another example. It's not about money to him anymore. It's about power. It's about the kind of things he can do to destroy things. And it was the same thing with Epstein. All of that stuff was about power and control. It was never about the underage girls. The underage girls were the temptation to to lure those people into compromising situations where now Jeffrey Epstein and whoever else he wanted to give that information to had power and control over him. That's why he thought he was untouchable, because all of his friends were such highfalutin individuals. And that's why you see so many people that are fucking shitting, they're shitting bricks right now. They're terrified about all this stuff coming out because of all this paperwork and everything else that comes out. Once it all goes on record and people start getting interviewed, I mean, if there's not congressional investigations into this kind of stuff, it's an absolute outrage. And people need to be outraged over it if they're not. Because this is ridiculous. Everybody knew about this guy. Everybody in that elite world knew what he was doing, knew what kind of monster he was.
Well, it shows what kind of people that we're electing into our office.
Yeah.
Because no one was man enough to stand up and say, this is fucked up. I'm going to say something to everyone.